Part 2 of episode 500 celebration. We're here with Craig Lagans, here with Mark Go Thompson. And we're going to do something a little different because next week,
Bubbly.
He's got the bubbly. He's still got the bubbly. Mr. Jericho and I had a back and forth on Twitter last night. I mean, it was me tweeting him. He didn't reply. Which, touche. I'm a nobody, so I get it. But,
I will one-up you.
Hold on. No. Let me one-up me in
ahead.
a second. Let me get this one out. He tweeted, I'm not a political person, but, and then he started his conspiracy theory about how counting votes work because, and then I said, you're not a political person, and then tweeted him a list of the donations he's made to a certain administration. I said, not political?
Right.
Yeah. I don't care that you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that way. I'm like,
you
sure, it's your money.
A different list of Jericho.
Yeah, not from that address. Is not. Not that his whole address, I wouldn't put his whole address out there because I'm not an asshole. But my point was, I'm like, but you are a political person. I don't care that you did it. I'm just saying, yes, you are. So just say the tweet, bro. What was your one-up?
Oh,
and fuck you for the one-up. No, I'm kidding.
No, when I went off to Magical Radio Land, I did get to interview Chris Jericho after the first Undisputed book came out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And my co-host had no idea who, he knew who he was. But he didn't know who he was, and this was back when he was still pretending that Moon Goose McQueen,
Mongoose,
and Chris Jericho were two different people.
Yeah.
So my co-host goes, well, you play this other character, Moon Goose McQueen. He goes, what? Moon Goose McQueen? He goes, I've never met the dude. He goes, but I hear he's pretty awesome. And I was like, God damn it, Chris Jericho, you are a fucking masterpiece. You are just really just comic gold. That
is.
I don't know if you guys know this, but Chris Jericho might be my favorite wrestler of all time. I'm going to say it.
That's wrong. Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I wouldn't argue that point. You know what I mean?
No, he's
I
in my.
don't think I know you can make for bigger people, but
no, he's in my top 10.
Vastly underrated.
Oh no, I think he gets the appropriate amount of accolades.
Rate?
Yeah, of rate. I think he's obviously going to go into the Hall of Fame when he's done with his AEW crap, and I think he'll gladly accept it. I've always put him in my top 10 of WWE superstars. I'm not saying professional wrestlers because that's a whole different category, but if I'm ranking the WWE superstars, he's in my top 10 every time.
Did you I can pinpoint two moments that I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
It was his last match in ECW.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first time I feel like he really struck gold was when he first brought out the dot matrix printer paper.
Okay.
And went through the 1,003 holds he had.
Yes.
When they cut the commercial and he was still
came
there.
Back. Yeah. Them. That was one of the greatest moments in TV wrestling history.
I feel like if no one's if you've never seen that before, just look it up on YouTube. It's as obnoxious as you think it is. Especially since every move is an armbar.
Yeah, and the variations he has on the K.
No, wait. My favorite was hold number 442. The fly. He literally holds. Wait, it's like hold one, arm bar. Hold two, arm drag. Hold three, the three-handed moss covered. Wait, the moss covered three-handed family credenza. Hold four, arm bar.
And number 5, Irish whip. Number 7, Italian whip. Okay. Russian. Number 78, Russian leg sweep. Number 79, Yugoslavian leg trip. And number 80, arm bar.
You know what the best part about that story is? Speaking of his book, Mark,
Mm-hmm.
the best part of that is he tells the story that when they cut to commercial, all he did was just make fun of the local sports teams.
Yeah.
For 2 minutes there at the commercial and go, you suck, they suck, you all suck, blah, 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 while he was listening to Penzer count him down off screen.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he at 3, 2, 1, cuts back from commercial, the house lights go up, you can hear everybody booing loudly, and he goes, hold 992.
But the greatest thing about that is when the person he was feuding with, Prince Iakea, who he called Prince Nakamaki, came in and threw his computer paper everywhere. And Jericho kept screaming, "My holds! My holds!
Give me my holds!
My
Give me my holds back!"
He's trying to scrape together this dot matrix printer paper. God, it was so good.
It was so good. My other go-to, and I know people get tired of hearing it, but they're just fucking wrong, is the Slamboree 98 Cruiserweight Battle Royal, which stole arguably, barely arguably, we would all agree, damn near they stole that show.
And yes. Chris Jericho said in his own book that was the loudest pop he's ever received. He's louder than him when he first debuted on Raw in August of '99, louder than when he won the championship, louder than when he's been in concert with Fozzy. The pop he got when Dean Malenko took off his mask was the loudest it's ever been. I still have it on the WWE Network. Pause to that very moment because it still gives me goosebumps. And it's absolutely legend. Wait for it, Derry.
Go ahead,
I feel like
Mark.
I can go back and watch this now.
Oh my dude! First of all, Slamboree '98 is a good show.
Yeah, very underrated.
Bret Hart is even good, even though it has that cluster effery with Hogan at the end. DDP and Raven have a Bowery death match, which is just a hardcore cage match. And the main event was Scott Hall's betrayal to Kevin Nash after all those years.
Wow.
It's on that show, but that show begins with a 30-man
Cruiserweight
Battle Royal, and the kicker of that, which I think Craig was about to bring up, the kicker of that, Mark, is Chris Jericho comes out before the entrances happen. Chris Jericho comes out and tells Penzer to shut up, and he announces everyone incorrectly on purpose. It's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen. God. He says Silver King. If he gets another 5 wins, he's going to upgrade to Golden King. It's fucking brilliant.
And the winner of the Cruiserweight Battle Royal is going to get a championship shot right there at the Cruiserweight champion, Chris Jericho. 2 months prior, Dean Malenko legitimately lost his father, and he had been off TV for a while.
Right.
Chris Jericho, completely insulted him, insulted his dad over and over and over again. So when the last two men were Ciclope and Juventud Guerrera, and Juventud threw himself over the top rope, and it was Ciclope who won the Battle Royal, and he would face Chris Jericho. And what's he doing? He's unmasking, and then. And Tony Schiavone's call, "That's not Ciclope!
That's not Ciclope!
That's Dean Malenko!"
And Bobby breaks in with it. That's Dean Malenko! Mark, Craig and I are not exaggerating. Other than a Stone Cold pop, I fucking dare you to find a pop louder that year.
You know what I always say this, and this is the God's honest truth. Dean Malenko, now there's a guy underrated.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. Just horribly wasted in the WWE because they didn't know what to do with guys that were wrestlers. Like Lance Storm was another perfect example of a guy they just didn't know what to do with because he put on an amazing match and just oh darn, he wasn't super flashy on the mic. Oh my God, he was super flashy in the ring.
Yeah.
You can't teach skills like that.
No. And with Malenko, and we're talking about wrestlers. He's in my top 5 of greatest wrestlers of all time. And he also made the PWI. You mentioned PWI before we went on the air. He was the number 1 rated on PWI, at least once when the PWI 500. Dean Malenko, Dean Malenko was a guy that you're right. WWE didn't know what to do with, and neither did Lance Storm. 2 supremely talented athletes. But Dean Malenko, to a man, everyone they did a little like impartial in the vote with if the WWE locker room the whole year that the 5 years that Dean Malenko was there, he was voted the funniest guy in the locker room, bar none. Funnier than Rock, Austin, Malenko. I mean Undertaker. Everyone loved Dean Malenko. That doesn't translate on the air, and you really can't. The same thing with Lance Storm. I always thought that Jericho and Lance Storm should have reunited as the thrill seekers in the WWE. That never happened. Jericho went one way, and obviously Lance Storm on the WWE went another way. They never teamed up there. I thought that was a missed opportunity. I just thought when Jericho teamed with Christian, that should have been Lance Storm, but Christian has the mic skills that Lance Storm hasn't, and that's nothing against Lance Storm. He's immaculate in the ring, but when back then, when in the late '90s, when they're selling everything, but everything had to do with personality. Didn't matter how good you were in the ring. If you can talk, you got a main event spot, i.e. Road Dogg, i.e. Billy Gunn.
Oh God.
Two guys that couldn't hold Malenko or Lance Storm's jock, but guess who got main event TV time? Those guys.
But
So-
and that's the thing that drove me insane because I feel like WCW, even with just the silly Canadian gimmick, when they had Lance Storm being the leader of the Canadian team,
Yeah.
I still felt like Lance Storm was like still someone you were like he was a villain. You were an American. You didn't like Canadians. For whatever reason, that was a thing in the 90s.
Yeah.
You remember when everyone in the 90s hated Canadians for no reason?
Remember when xenophobia was a thing? If you weren't American, you can automatically be a heel.
Yeah, you were just
Canadian-
like, what country is he from?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Boo him. Yeah, that was great.
Canada, Japan, Russia.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
But but when he changed all the titles, the Canadian version of them,
Yes.
it was amazing to me.
The
It was
Saskatchewan
like one of the better.
Saskatchewan Hardcore International title.
Yes.
The shit title.
The shit title, yeah.
Well, I was about to say I was a big fan of Team Canada in 2000.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was great in the midst of all the other bad crap that was going on. Lance Storm was killing 45 minutes a night. Thank God.
Yeah.
He'd come out to the Canadian Team Canada theme. He'd stand there in the ring. He'd look serious. The place booed him, and he'd go, if I could be serious for a minute?" And they'd boo him for another minute.
Yeah.
That's folks.
Yeah.
Man, you can't teach that.
No,
And
Lance
you can't
Storm.
teach that.
Lance Storm is. If you look at the word underrated as far as wrestling in the dictionary, you see Lance Storm's picture.
Yeah.
And it's also see criminally underrated.
Underused,
And also
underused.
you're a bunch of idiots, internet.
Yeah. I put Lance Storm is in the Brad Armstrong category of someone that could do absolutely everything in the ring. Looked not only everything in the ring, looked good. Great work ethic. Kept himself in shape. Wasn't a head case.
Well, the proof about Brad Armstrong was every time they needed a stupid gimmick or something, somebody they could put under a mask. Brad Armstrong was the guy for like 15 goddamn years.
Yes. And
hey, we got this terrible Spider-Man thing we're gonna do.
Yeah, Arachnaman.
Hey, we got a guy who should come out and throwing candy to the kids, and we want him to wear peppermint tights. Could you do that? Sure.
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah,
that
he
one
was the candy man.
Oh my
Brad
God.
Armstrong. He came out in red and white tights, and he's throwing candy canes to all the kids. Oh, Terry Gordy can't make his dates. We need a third person for the Freebirds. Can we put you in a mask and call you Fantasia? You got it.
My favorite Brad Armstrong gimmick, Buzzkill.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Buzzkill.
Which was just
my God.
it was just the hippie Road Dogg, his brother, his real life brother.
It was amazing.
And it was instead of it was that was it. It's me, it's the BUZZ. And it only lasted 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was,
It was hysterical.
so high on that gimmick. I loved it.
I
And it was
wanted
gone.
more of it.
And it was gone.
Yeah.
But they kept Mike Awesome as the fat chick Thriller for longer. Fucking assholes.
Yeah. But Brad Armstrong, just like Lance Storm, was a guy that his true personality was seen backstage, and you never saw it on the camera, and it didn't translate to the camera. Brad Armstrong was one of the guys that loved to cut up backstage. Ric Flair loved him. So many great stories with him. But you put him on the mic, he gave a great promo, but that personality that they liked in the back didn't always come across on camera. Same thing with Lance Storm. And with Storm, they turned into it. The fact that he was always here. If I could be serious for a minute, they wanted him to play that part up.
You know what I love about this iteration of the show already?
What?
Is Craig is going to be the one that pulls the rein back in from the two of us, Mark.
I'm gonna get weird.
Yeah, don't do it, Craig. If Craig is going to get angry, he'll let you know, but he'll let you know off air. But no, Craig will let you know. No, but I just noticed that because we went off on 3 because he did it to me earlier, but he did it to me the only way I knew how. He put it out of Front Street, like, dude, we're going down the highway and you're like 3 steps off already. Can you come back? This one, he was just like, but about Lance Storm. I was like, Craig's going to be a dad now. We're so fucked.
Because I mean, earlier today I was talking about someone brought up Doink the Clown, and then all of a sudden I went off on a Born Again tangent, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, you know what, man? Maybe I watched a little more wrestling than you. You know, like it's fine.
Don't worry about it. I'm sorry.
They're like, where was that? I go, ECW. Like, no, I watched ECW. I go, man.
No, you didn't.
Like, you watched it, but you didn't
You didn't watch it every single Saturday for 6 years, sir.
If it weren't for Matt Bourne, we probably wouldn't have the Road Warriors. This is a part of the wrestling historian. Matt Bourne and Arn Anderson were set to become the Georgia National Tag Team Champions. Matt Bourne gets arrested for abuse. It wouldn't be the last time he got arrested for domestic abuse. So
great guy, that Doink.
Yeah. So that tag team's out the window. Ole Anderson is strapped. I need 2 guys. I need a tag team, and I need it fast. He flies out to Minnesota, talks to Ed Sharkey, and Road Warrior Animal got arrested. Soul who just passed. He had just wrestled in Georgia a month prior as the Road Warrior, and he said, "Yeah, can I get him? And what about this guy?" And he showed him a picture of Michael Hegstrand, and he thought it was the same guy because they look so much alike. So, cut to a week later, they come up on Georgia Georgia TV. He hands them the national tag team belts. Okay, you guys are champions. All right, I'm going to say you won it in the tournament in Chicago. So, enter the Road Warriors. The rest is history. But had Matt Bourne kept his head on straight, it would have been Matt Bourne and Arn Anderson as the Georgia Tag Team Champions, and the Road Warriors may never have been a team. So it was because of Matt Bourne. Another funny Matt Bourne story. He and if you don't mind.
No, please.
When he and Hacksaw Duggan, before he came to Georgia, Matt Bourne, Hacksaw Duggan, and Ted DiBiase were the Rat Pack in the Mid-South area. They were the big heel faction in the Mid-South area. The thing about it, even though they were great heels, Matt Bourne and Hacksaw Duggan hated each other.
Of course they did.
And so
wrestling.
Yeah. And so when Hacksaw turned face and turned on Ted DiBiase and Matt turned on the Rat Pack, and they had to actually wrestle each other, they got a little stiff with each other, and they got into blows before the matches started in the locker room. And Ernie Ladd, who was the booker, tried to get in between them.
Oh, wow.
But unfortunately, because Ernie was at an age and his knees were already bad, in trying to separate him, his knee went out on him.
Oh.
So he fell down. He was flat on his butt, and he yelled, "Tony Atlas, separate these 2 and help me up, but I don't care which one you do first." When he was flat on his butt, he couldn't move.
I can hear him doing it too.
Tony Atlas,
Tony Atlas,
break up this fight and help me up, and I don't care which one you do first.
That's amazing. Oh my god!
I not to go off a tangent, but we need to do an Ernie Ladd podcast just so we can tell that story about the Briscoes and the chain in the car.
Oh yes.
Mark, I'll tell you that one off air real quick if you haven't heard that story.
I'm in for whatever's going on there.
See, this is what I love about this now, and this is falling into place beautifully. Mr. Thompson knows a lot of wrestling. He's forgotten more than I remember, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the first thing I want him to do when he has free time is rewatch Slamboree 98.
Yes.
All right.
At least that segment.
Tomorrow night.
At least that segment.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow night, we'll watch it.
I
got caught up last night. I watched, now you're going to judge me. No, you're not. Heatwave 95.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch, I never really watched it, except on YouTube, all the chairs flying into the ring.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
But I felt like it was the perfect thing to watch while the election was going on.
Yeah.
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 The metaphor.
So, Yeah, it was just as magical as I thought it was going to be.
Have you ever been to the ECW arena in its heyday?
Yes.
Okay, then you know. Good.
Well, not for ECW, but for like other events.
Oh no, I mean, like, have you ever been there when it was before it was redone?
No.
Oh my God. There was a joke going around. Unfortunately, when coronavirus first came,
I saw it. Yes.
Yeah, you saw that meme. If you've been to the ECW bathrooms, you can survive. You're immune to coronavirus.
Yeah.
Not saying it's true. Of course, I'm kidding, but I'm just saying there's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, and the place looks lovely, and I haven't been back since they've redone it. But if you polish a turd, it's still a turd. Craig has also been there. Craig, you've been to the ECW arena
many times. Well, I spent about 2 years there doing Pro Wrestling Unplugged and
that's right,
CZW shows. I was almost the commissioner.
Yeah, well, we're not going to talk about that. Well, we got to get Loudy and Chris on one week to talk about that. But that place was too hot in the summer and hotter in the winter, if it's possible. Yeah. The only area that was cold in that building was right by the door.
Right. And
it was a little pocket of air right by the door that you'd be like, oh, I have a breeze. And as soon as you walked away, you just get all the hot Philly ass odor that was in that building.
It was like a middle school gym then.
Yeah, but it was a bunch of fat adults sweating all over each other, yelling stupid stuff.
Also, my favorite thing about watching Heatwave 95, I don't think there was a female there except for Francine and one female photographer who was probably like, what did I do wrong? Where did I go wrong in my life that this is what they sent me to take pictures of? I'm sorry. She was apologizing to everyone she believed in.
I'm not going to judge you because right now I'll send you the original link on Twitter because I've been tweeting about every now and then and taking pictures and videos. So right at I think it's at the end of March, maybe end of March, early April, Arch or Maple. God damn it.
April.
That I went back to the first.
2nd.
I went to the first event. I went back to the first event that I ever attended, and I don't know if we've ever talked about this personally, Mark. The first event I ever attended, 6 years old, was Halloween Havoc, which is going to transition to our next conversation. Was Halloween Havoc 1989 at the Philadelphia Civic Center, where the main event was Flair and Sting versus Funk and Great Muta. In the in the bad guys corner was Gary Hart, and the good guys corner was Ole Anderson, and the special guest enforcer referee was Bruno goddamn Sammartino.
Wow.
That was the main event. That was also the main event where they almost caught the Civic Center on fire because they had decorations on the This was in a Thunderdome cage match. It was in basically Hell in a Cell before it was Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
And they had Halloween decorations made of paper and mache and all this crap. And of course, $1 million company, Turner. I will get to there's a few chats coming up I'm going to mention in a second, so hang in there, chat room. I appreciate you coming in. So they decided to let the pyro Alf as they lower the cage. Problem is, the old sparks cut fucking decorations on fire, and Great Muta had to climb to the top of the cage and put it out with his mist.
Well, he was the only one athletic enough to climb up
and
there.
The only one with apparently fire extinguishing equipment built in.
It's a gland underneath his tongue.
I want to say hello to Purple Flavor Trash, regular here and a good friend. Thank you for coming. Love you. And Mudamus putting out the fire. Exactly. I want to say a big welcome. He's been in, but he's never signed in before, I don't think. But a big thank you to Fourth Line Voice, who's in the chat right now, saying hi. He and I have been buddies for a lot of years. There's been a lot of drama that he and I both dealt with on the back end of hockey and wrestling Twitter and podcasting. Hockey can get kind of bullshitty like wrestling.
I know. There's like it much like wrestling. There's 4 people that like it.
That's true. But he and I are tape traders. I haven't been able to send him everything I have. He has, so I haven't been able to trade him yet. But he sends me all kind of shoot interviews that I haven't not been able to find for years. He sent me what are those Canadian potato chips? I even said it like
Poutines?
No, the
all
potato
dressed.
chips, all dressed. Yes, delicious. I even said potato like I was from Philly, South Jersey.
That sounds filthy.
If you signed up, love it, boys. I am a Jim Cornette guy. Oh boy, we'll talk about that in a second. But my point is, she's all dressed. That's it. Cheesies. Never mind. Yeah. Don't do that. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Oh, if you're into hockey fights, and I'm talking about not just NHL, every league that you can think of and every league you've never heard of.
Right, where they take the boot off and cut the other guy in the face.
Not that, mate. Not murder. But old school hockey, fourth line voice on YouTube. They are better. They are like better Cheetos. Oh, the cheesies. I've never heard of that. God, Cheetos I haven't had in a long time. Okay.
Whoa! Time out. Hang on. Is he telling me that there's a all dressed Cheeto?
No. I think we're talking about two different things here, and that's two people in the chat. So
the best have a seizure.
If there's all dressed Cheetos, I'm fucked.
Yeah, I'm moving to Canada.
I've been pretty good. Yeah.
This will be my last show.
This will be my last show, and I'm moving to Canada.
I'm going to die eating all dressed Cheetos.
Cheetos. No, it's just regular Cheetos. I knew. By the way, the best, also ew. The best thing to do while you're on the show, Mark, is to actually open up the chat window and keep track.
Find out how to do that.
Yeah, because I'm reading them as they're coming out, but I can't really. I can't say the name each time, but there's two people chatting with me in the window right now, so my bad. But my point is, I forgot my point. Oh, Halloween Havoc. You wanted to discuss Halloween Havoc, Mr. Thompson. Now is your chance. You have the floor.
So Halloween Havoc is like my favorite thing in the world. Even though they did it horribly back in, when they originally did it.
Of course they did.
They actually let the wheel determine the match. Like, they didn't rig the wheel. Like, here's the one apparatus you ever had the chance to
rig.
And it wasn't like a lottery or like a ping pong ball. No, it was like a wheel that you could just wait and just be like, oh, look, it stopped on not coal miner's glove match. It didn't stop on that. But here we go. We bring back Halloween Havoc, which a spin wheel make the deal is like the coolest thing ever. And if you win on a good match, it makes it amazing. Now, for the first reiteration of this, I thought it was a good try, especially since it was just a weeknight, just NXT that you added some flair to. You put some bad Halloween decorations out that you literally saw that they bought bad Halloween decorations in the back during the Devil's Playground match because they're on the trash bin.
Yeah.
They're like pile of skulls box. Oh, look, those skulls weren't there. But on that wheel, if you look in there, were all the bad matches throughout WWE's history or WCW's, like Dungeon of Doom match.
Oh,
was on the wheel. Blindfold match, coal miner glove match. There's a couple other ones that were fun.
The Bunkhouse Brawl on there.
It might as well have been like I said, like anything that you saw the tractor trailer match. I think maybe where the big boss man fought someone.
Oh God!
Or the Blacktop Bully match.
What was it?
The Blacktop Bully match when he
you
that's
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're on the back of a semi for 20 miles.
Well, you know what my favorite part about that original Spin the Wheel, Mark, is, and I just when they announced Halloween Havoc was coming back, I got the old VHS of Best of Halloween Havoc because I have it copied on DVD and I watched it. And my favorite part of that is when they spin the wheel and it lands sort of not really on Coal Miner's glove.
Yeah.
But he goes, you see, they're all confused. It's on Coal Miner's glove. And Sting kind of goes, all right. Oh, shit. I don't know
I don't know what
what am I going to
And the best part about that is they explained the match 3 times, and still Sting punches him in the leg and goes to pin him. I'm like, why did we just climb a pole to grab a glove for if that was it? What the WCW? What the fuck?
They were so bad. Oh my god. Oh, but seriously, then we cut to the new thing that WWE loves to do. It's their movie matches.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, I don't have a huge problem with these. I think it's a good way to circumnavigate coronavirus. I mean, they're not home runs.
No.
But here's my problem. What's Dexter Loomis? I don't know what I'm watching.
Craig, that's all you, buddy.
I have a huge problem. Well, the name, you know where the name comes from, of course.
Well, that's Halloween.
And the Dexter
And Dexter, the murderer, yeah.
The murderer, and then Loomis is Halloween.
That's where we differ, Mark. I have a huge problem with these Hollywood matches. It has nothing to do with professional wrestling. Just turn it into, why don't you just call it a drama show then? Because you have editing, you have multiple camera angles, you have people running down the street, and we go to a commercial, we come back, we pick up from where we left off. This has nothing to do with wrestling. And if that's what people, I mean, it's the kind of thing. If people like that kind of thing, that's the kind of thing those people like. I'm not. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid. Again, it has absolutely nothing to do with professional wrestling. So I turned it off, just like I did with the Undertaker, AJ, Cassidy, whatever the fuck, and the John Cena, Bray Wyatt, Firefly, Funhouse of Fear, fuckery. Again, nothing to do with professional wrestling, and especially when you have 2 quality athletes like that, I would be just as entertained if they had a wrestling match, and even if you put a stipulation.
I really dig that Cameron Grimes kid, man.
Yeah, again,
I think he's got a real thing going for him.
Yeah, and so does Loomis. Or I liked him when he was Sam Shaw in TNA because he's got a great look. He's got a great body. He was Sam, and doing the same gimmick though, Dan.
Yeah,
I mean, he does a
Can
great.
you explain to me his gimmick? Like, I don't like. Why were there zombies?
I don't know.
Oh, because it was Halloween Havoc. There was no.
Yeah.
Like, that has nothing to do with him.
No.
I just came in on a bad night that they just decided there were zombies.
It wasn't a bad night. It was just that it was going to be Halloween themed, so they were going to throw the zombies and the dead and the creepy things at you, and it just so happened they used that match for it.
The worst zombie I saw was that Michael P.S. Hayes zombie.
Well, he's been a zombie for years.
That was horrendous. They could have done a better makeup job on that.
You know what I loved is he came out. I couldn't understand a word he said.
No
Everybody else was mic'd except Michael Hayes. And I was just like, what? I'm already having a problem with my ears, but I was like, what the fuck did he say?
Hey, like Bad Street. That's all you heard. And you're like, okay.
I want to say hi to Derek McDonald, a frequent guest on the show. He's watching on Facebook right now.
Hey,
Fourth line voice says 100% Craig. Well, you're both wrong. Shut up. I'm kidding. You're both wrong, but I'm not, I don't mean that. Derek, we're going to get you back on the show soon. We have a new dynamic here, and I'm going to start. We're going to start getting guests again, but that's something we're going to discuss off air. But anyway, yes, Halloween Havoc. Listen, as much as I rag on the WWE for certain morality issues I have with coronavirus, I'm trying not to toot my own morality horn. That's for another show at another time. As a little WCW mark, I used this excuse to watch WWE for the first time in months. And I am absolutely, Derek says, hey, Craig. I'm absolutely ecstatic that Shotzi Blackheart was the catalyst of it all.
Yeah,
I've had the pleasure of sharing a venue with her many times, seeing her on the independent circuit.
Word?
What?
I said word?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Word?
It cut out right as you said word. I was like, wait, what'd I do? No.
It was an improving thing, yeah.
Thank you. Shotzi is over the minute she steps in the building, backstage and otherwise. And I really hope, because I'm a Shotzi Blackheart mark, blah, blah, blah.
That's easy for you to say.
No, it's not. Apparently not, Craig. I really hope this carries over to the big show, no pun intended, when Shotzi gets called up to Raw or SmackDown or wherever. She has the look. She has the charisma. She could wrestle. 3 important things to be on a wrestling show.
All the important things, just bury her on SmackDown and send her back to NXT.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nailed it. Thanks, Finn Balor.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree that she's from Hood Slam, the best, queerest. Why can't I read tonight? She's from Hood Slam, the best, queerest person of color promotion, period, indie or otherwise. Yes, Hood Slam is I still have to get into them and check them out. Because it's Hood Slam and it's Butch versus Gore coming back. That's something I need to talk about at the end of the show. Hey, man. Yes, Shotzi's amazing. So we need more of her. But my point was I appreciated the little callback. Mm-hmm. Made me feel like a little kid again.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I it's like War Games is coming up. War Games makes me happy.
Yeah, well, in the world and in wrestling.
Yeah, that's not true, but yes. Sure.
No, I know. I was being sarcastic. The Democrats.
I know what you're doing.
I'm kidding. I was just watching people get confused on purpose or otherwise of how mail-in voting works, and I'm just enjoying the shit show, quite frankly. Which reminds me about Fourth Line Voice. I must talk to him about the OHL. Much like wrestling and changing their ways during a pandemic, the OHL has decided that they are not going to allow any physicality or checking when they go back to play. You tell me how that works in hockey, because I'm fucking confused. So I need to talk to him about that.
Well,
later.
It's like you're playing the hockey game on a PS4. You can't go inside those circles.
No, you're right. Get the fuck out of here. I guess that brings us to the last thing you wanted to talk about, which was the PWI 500.
Oh, yeah.
Which, ironically, PWI is our home, VOC Nation, Brady Hicks, contributor, writer, and one of the main guys at PWI for the last 15, 20 years. So
my first time in print, the first time I was ever published was Pro Wrestling Illustrated, 1983.
Shut up, Craig.
You know how old I was in 1983, Craig?
Were you
0. I was born.
So I've been contributing to Pro Wrestling Illustrated since the day you were born, Dan.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Yeah.
Craig.
Yeah.
Do you know how badass that is?
And when they had the year-end awards, they'd ask fans to send in the year-end awards, and they chose 5 of my year-end awards. Like what I voted, the Jackie Gleason, I got a big mouth award, went to Jim Cornette. Eddie Gilbert won the Spud. It was Eddie Gilbert and Buzz. Eddie Gilbert won the Spud Webb Award for the best wrestler under 6 feet tall, with honorable mention Buzz Sawyer. The Give Me a Break Award went to Gorilla Monsoon. I think what else? I'm trying to figure what else. But yeah, so the first time I was published, and they got a lot. They put a lot of my stuff in because I was one of the correspondents. One of the things I miss the most, Mark, about.
By the way, Mark, this is news to me, and I've known the guy for like 10 years now.
This is friggin' awesome.
12 years, and I've known him. So,
Pro Wrestling Illustrated was was the only thing we had back then. There was no internet. There was no weekly, newsletters or nothing like that. It was before the dirt sheet. So when Pro Wrestling Illustrated came out, it was a big deal. And one of the things I love and what I miss most about professional wrestling were the territories. And they would ask fans to, whenever there was any, in wherever you are, and it was back when wrestling was in all 50 states, send in the results. And when I would go down to the Spectrum every month and send in the results, and they would use mine, fairly regularly whenever anyone come down. But then I look at the other, matches in Puerto Rico, matches in St. Louis and the NWA, and in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the AWA, and I look for my name and look for my results, and there it was. And Yeah, it was always a thrill. Big thrill. I was more excited, and there's another callback with I was at Chris Jericho's book signing at the University of Penn bookstore here in Philadelphia for his Around the World in Spandex for his first book. Mark, I was more excited to meet Bill Apter than I was of Chris Jericho. I spent more time talking to Bill Apter than I did Chris Jericho.
That's your thing, man. No, I get it. That's how rad is that?
It was incredible. I saw it and I said, "Excuse me, you Bill Apter?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh my God, I've more," and I just went on and on. Like when Dusty Rhodes won his first NWA title in 1979, I clipped out the pages and put it on my wall. And I've written to you, and you've used my stuff, and I've been a correspondent, the arena correspondent. That was me. And he goes, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." And what's your name? I said, "Craig Lagasse." You're not gonna remember that, but trust me, I remember. I know who you are. And I was talking to him all the way up to it. I said, "You're next in line." I said, "Oh, just wait a second." I said, "No, Mr. Jericho's ready for it." I said, "Just a second. I'm talking to Bill Apter." But then
Fuck Chris Jericho. I'm talking to Bill Apter.
God damn it.
You pumped the brakes on Jericho for Bill. I love it.
I just said I just need to live. Just give me a second, Chris. I'll be right with you.
I mean, I would.
Hey, I'm talking to a real star here.
Bill Apter used to sing karaoke with my cousin. I wonder if he also found out he was giving out KKK pamphlets to the Philly PD, and why he won't talk to him anymore either. That's a true story. By the way, Skinny, on site when I see you.
Wow. I didn't mean to cut you off, Dan. You were saying something about PWI.
Don't go back to me.
No, we were talking about PWI.
I don't remember. PWI 500.
Yeah, sorry, guys. I don't have a Bill Apter story.
That's okay. Do you have a PWI 500 story?
Well, yeah, Mark wanted to talk about PWI 500.
Yeah, well, once again, like I was going to mention, like you guys were talking about, like when I was a kid, like, the PWI was the coolest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I learned about wrestlers I didn't know even existed. It was like, and that in between WCW, because I love WCW for giving me Great Muta. Great Muta gave me like the first moonsault I ever saw in my entire life.
Mine too.
Like I forget who I watched it on. It might have been him versus Flair. The moonsault he does in that match. I'm like, what just happened? What?
Yeah.
It blew my mind. But the wrestling list came out this year, and I love that they divided up. Your men's and women's.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about the half face paint people. Thunder Rosa is probably one of my favorite people for me to find out about this year.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved NWA wrestling that was on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can judge me for that all you want.
No, it was so refreshing to see, Mark, because I remember watching it even when I was tape trading VHS. Big clunky tapes would come to my house, and they would have the Mid-Atlantic television show with the flags from the ceiling and right next to the studio, and I loved it. When I saw the NWA did it, I was such a huge fan of that, because that brought me back to my childhood. Because I did, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, it just looks like a product that, like, it feels like when Saturday night on TNT WCW wrestling, right?
Yeah.
What was that show? That horrible show called where they had the Stargate open up. It was like the Star Trek door.
Yeah, it was WCW Saturday Night.
Yeah, that's all it was. Of course it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
oh yeah,
just like,
in the mid '90s to the
Yeah.
I was like, what fucking
smoke would come out.
Yeah.
And that was all at Disney Disney World, or the Paramount Studios, rather, I should say. On Disney at Disney World.
Go ahead, Mark. Oh, I thought you had more to say. No, I will say this. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I was not. It was too white for me at first. NWA when it first came back.
Mm-hmm.
Way too white.
Mm-hmm.
Thunder Rosa finally got pushed out there. They still have a ways to go, but they started. They were starting to before it shut down. They were starting to feature
was in there.
Yeah, and they were starting to feature the women as well, more than just a bunch of dudes, which is fine. I just don't. I'm there for more than just dudes now. I've seen it.
I know.
Just not completely, but I want variety now. That's what I'm here for. And we still have many, many steps to go. I know we all feel, and we all are basically on the same page about the general booking of AEW. But as far as mainstream, yes, I understand. As far as mainstream variety, they're getting it the best and right thus far. I don't like the way the pin went with Sonny Kiss against Kenny Omega.
That was my least favorite thing in a long time.
I'm confused.
I feel like, once again, any chance they start giving Sonny Kiss, they bury it.
Well,
No, go please.
I was just going to play devil's advocate here with Sonny Kiss, who's a phenomenal athlete. But honestly, how far can you go with him?
I don't know, but do it.
Okay, but I mean, you push him for what purpose? And he's not going to be your world champion.
Why not?
He's not going to be. Why would he?
Why not? But I'm hearing. I'm not hearing the why not though.
I'm totally cool. Like, there's just some people that don't have that pizzazz.
No, I just see him as a novelty act, just like with Orange Cassidy.
Okay, well give Sonny Kiss the title as a novelty act for a month to see what happens. Give it to him for 2 weeks. Don't kill Sonny Kiss in 30 seconds with Kenny fucking Omega. Kenny Omega?
Oh, I agree. It should not. He shouldn't be squashing anyone, especially not that mega douche. But
listen, there's not a whole lot.
Well, and it's then you go down that road and you're like, well then, and I don't love. He's a dinosaur. I can't.
Luchasaurus.
I like. He's a good wrestler, but then he's a dinosaur.
I have a question from a fielding question.
Mm-hmm.
What is novel about Sonny Kiss?
Novel about Sonny Kiss?
Yeah.
Well, he wants to be. Yeah, that booty is novel. Yes.
Why?
Well, he wants to. Well, the fact that he wants.
Have you seen the booty?
The booty next to Rob Van Dam, that's probably the greatest ass in wrestling history.
It's a fantastic ass.
It is a fantastic ass, but
bounce a quarter off that thing.
And you can give you 5 cents change. Yes, but if you you have a wrestler who wants to be referred to as she, but he's not. But then he's not in the women's division. You're not going to put her in the women's division. So what exactly is Sonny Kiss outside of a novelty act?
A wrestler.
And that he is. But just like how certain wrestlers are wrestlers and certain wrestlers are world champions.
But I don't understand. But I'm genuinely confused what the novel part about it. So he doesn't dress like a man is perceived to be. He wants to be called she, and that's her prerogative.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't Sonny be world champion based on that though?
Okay, I'm gonna interlude real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't think novelty act, but I do think that when certain people are just certain things, like in the style they're presented by the company, they're not going to get it over. Like the Hurricane was never going to be the world champion.
No, I'm not.
But this is what I'm saying. This is how the company is presenting Sonny Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
If Sonny Kiss came in and it was like if Sonny Kiss was presented as seriously as Cody is presented. Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm just reading chats now. Goldust was a novelty, and he also got pushed.
Yeah, but
never got a world title though.
Yeah.
Okay, don't put the world title with 30 seconds.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't care if Sonny gets the title. 30 fucking seconds.
That was an abomination. Yes, I agree with you totally, and especially to someone like Kenny Omega. If that
that match with Cody, I think should have gone different.
Yeah,
I do too, but I was told to back off about that, so I backed off of that.
Title match.
Yeah,
I thought that should have gone different.
My point is, if we're going back to variety and mixing my logic about it, and we're disagreeing, and it's fine, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Both you kiss my ass. You're dead. You're fired. You're rehired. Come back.
You can cut my salary if you want to, though.
Cutting half a zero is still zero, you bitch. But my point goes back to, I am grateful and I'm very happy that other people are getting the experience to see somebody else be put on the front and center like that. I'm a privileged white guy from South Jersey. I have no illusions of what I am or perceived to be. However, it is bothering me that 30 seconds is starting. That 30 seconds, and as Mark reminded me, now I'm angry about that goddamn match with Cody. How, given what New Day started as Kofi shouldn't have ever become world champion, but there was growth. I think Sonny can get some momentum with the right booking. I agree, Derek. I don't think anything about him is novelty. I think everything about Sonny is unique and different, and that is more of a main event act. If he doesn't get a title, that's something we can talk about in another 20 years. Like guys that were underrated, men and women underrated in the 2000s, 2010s, and never got a world title.
And look,
Sonny Kiss.
Look, and here's the whole thing. You look at let's go all the way back and you start with Shawn Michaels. Okay, now I'm not saying Sonny Kiss is going to be Shawn Michaels, but a lot
of people aren't going to be Shawn Michaels.
But how stupid was Shawn Michaels' start to his career? He was in a tag team that was a knockoff of another tag team.
Yeah.
Right? Get up and go with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to break it down to what it was, Vince McMahon couldn't get the Rock and Roll Express. He made his own. Am I right?
Well, actually, the AWA made it, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Craig, I knew you were going to correct me on that one.
Yeah, because they're actually a knockoff of a knockoff. They're a knockoff of the Rock and Roll Express.
Nothing gets by him, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Rockers are a knockoff of the Rock and Roll Express, who are a knockoff of the Fabulous Ones. But they are a knockoff of a knockoff. But yeah, but I see what you're saying. Everyone's got to talk. Everyone's got to start somewhere, and where Shawn Michaels started and where his career ended was completely, absolutely different. It's a whole.
However,
I mean, Kevin Nash's gimmick was he was a truck.
He had 8 gimmicks, first of all, before he even got to. He was a truck. He was a great and powerful Oz.
He was a truck. He was a truck.
He was Vinny Vegas.
Yeah, he was a Guido.
He was great and powerful Oz. He was a blade master.
And now here he is. When you look back on Kevin Nash's career, you're like Hall of Famer.
No, I mean he is in the Hall of Fame, but he's not a Hall of Fame wrestler. Kevin Nash. Yes, Kevin Nash. Oh my God.
Got Hall?
No, neither one of those. Neither one of those guys. Hall more than Nash because Hall at least proved he can wrestle.
As a wrestler alone, Scott Hall's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I'd have to disagree with you that he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He should absolutely be in the Hall of Fame.
Scott Hall, yes. Kevin.
That's what I said, Scott Hall.
Yeah. Yes, I will never see Kevin Nash as a Hall of Fame.
For the NWO contributions and the contract status, I think absolutely. Yes. Change wrestling.
If you put the NWO in the Hall of Fame, yes. You put Kevin Nash by himself, no. Kevin Nash has never done anything to distinguish himself as the best at being anything.
What about that time he beat Bob Backlund in like 5 seconds?
8 seconds, but yay. And how about the time that Kevin Nash, for his time, was the lowest earning WWF heavyweight champion?
That's not his fault. The company was garbage.
I agree, but still, I wouldn't pay a dime to see.
Fourth line voice tunes in to see his argue.
Lost to a finger. He lost to this.
I will defend. Hold on, I'll defend to my dying day that was a brilliant booking.
It was great booking.
The finger poke. I know, Mark. I know, Mark. You're going to be shocked at that.
A little sad, but yes.
Dude, I agreed with you up until last year. I watched those months.
Oh,
and I saw what I didn't notice as a kid was they actually started it months before. That they actually, as much as we crap on WCW booking, they actually, whether they had the ending planned or not, retrospectively, you could actually see them sprinkling in the hints of a dissension and the hints of a reformation 6 months out.
And
rewatching it blew my mind. Sorry, Craig.
No, but that further, you were saying how much of the crap on WCW. I will crap on that because when that's one long storyline of great booking that they reserved for the guys that didn't need it.
Oh, that's true.
If they had spent that much time on a Chris Jericho angle or a Raven angle or as much as they did on Goldberg on some of the guys that actually deserved it, then it would. But yes, that was great booking. But
Purple flavored trash in the chat just said, "Damn, my man said fuck Scott Hall."
yes,
My to this day, nothing drives me more insane than Goldberg Raven for the United States title.
because
You had built this character. They took the ECW Raven and built this awesome little empire out of him with the flock.
Yeah.
And he was this anti-hero, and people were kind of into him, but he was still a great villain. And he took Goldberg around that ring and beat the living sense out of him. Here's the one guy that for the first time ever, Goldberg's going through tables. He doesn't get to play by Goldberg's rules. He has to play by the way Raven wrestles. And then in 2 seconds, they're like, just kidding. Spear jackhammer, it's all over.
Yeah, it was just bad timing.
And you undid it. Once again, and in modern wrestling, I equate it to Goldberg beating the Fiend. You undid all of this mythology that you were trying to build up.
Don't even. We're not even talking about the Fiend. That's another discussion for another time. Let's wrap up this and wrap for the week, gentlemen. What the final points you wanted to bring up?
Oh, final points.
PWA 500. Go ahead.
What's that?
I don't know. Whatever you're going to say. Don't let me interrupt
I
you.
was going to say.
Don't let me talk to you that way.
My final point is thanks for bringing me back on and let me rap about wrestling. This was I can't believe how awesome this was and how much fun it was.
I was a little worried about Craig, help me with words. Chemistry.
Part 2?
Chemistry, yeah.
No, I wasn't worried about part 2. Once we were at part 1, I thought part 2 would be sent. No, I was a little worried about chemistry, but we're in it, and it's only going to get better. And let's get behind it and let people know when we're on and when the videos are up. And let's get rolling again, and let's see how far we can take this to the gutter.
Hey, and in the next few weeks, I will not be just on my phone. I'll have my nice.
Oh yeah. Let me know when you want to test it. We'll test the connection and make sure it signs you in correctly, and we'll just to make sure it's working by next Wednesday. I've got time. You son of a bitch! I tweet out the joke about the high school. When you invite people to high school, nobody shows up. You're like, no, I'm really trying. I'm like, I was kidding anyway. To the base, from the tip to the base. Oh God, let's get out of here. Where can people follow you, for Christ's sake?
At Go Thompson at Arm Drag PC, Instagram, Twitter, wherever.
Mr. Craig Lagans, where can people follow you, sir? My dapper class, bringing the class to the show, gentlemen.
You can find me at Craig Lagans on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter at Craig Lagans, CraigLiggeons. And
go ahead.
Happy 500th, guys. We did it. Let's do 500 more.
Paychecks in the mail, everybody. Make sure you don't send your questions to Craig. Oh, damn. Follow me on Twitter at Nalo83. HIAC Talk Radio is at HIAC Talk Radio. And now that Mark is back, we're going to readopt that name, HIAC Talk Radio. VOCNation.com. Wow.
It's going to come to you. I know it. I know it's going to come any second.
Come, all right. VOCNation.com, all over your face, on your smartphone podcast app. Type in VOC Nation Radio Network. Click subscribe if you want to just watch the finished product on YouTube. YouTube.com/DanLaw83. Thank you, Purple Flavor Trash. Thank you, Derek McDonald. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Fourth Line Voice. Fourth Line Voice just said, good work, boys. That was fun to listen to. Please come back again, everybody. Whether you agree or disagree, we can have a discourse as long as you want about anything.
Thanks, Omega
We
Squad.
will keep it. And, yes, also, part 1, if you missed it, celebrating our 500th episode, Mr. Omega Squad, Chris Green. So, for Craig the Cons, Mark Go Thompson, and Dan Calachico, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.